Selamat sejahtera dan selamat sepupu. China is a vibe. It is Malaysia's largest trading partner. We had 50 years diplomatic relations, but it is the country that Malaysia loves to hate the most. If you've been in Malaysia for any length of time, you know about the toxic relationship between Malaysia, the Malaysian Chinese, and China itself. Don't believe me? Anytime anyone flies a Chinese flag in Malaysia, a couple of politicians will come up like ants, trying to eat up the drama, sugar, and try to get votes by talking about how, ooh, all these people are disloyal to Malaysia.
And we're not even talking about the internet commenters yet.
Chinese flags for a solidarity event.
Suddenly, it's a puak thing and they start blaming Malaysian Chinese.
Chinese signboards to entertain tourists. Do you know that Malaysia is not China? Oh my gosh, don't you care about Malaysia's sovereignty?
Partially valid concern, watch this video to the end.
But then you go all the way to China, doesn't matter what party, talk about how, oh my gosh, China is such an amazing place. But then you do anything with the Chinese flag and people like Razman Zakaria will come out and run protests about how you need to protect people with eyes like ours and skin like ours, screaming about national loyalty, questioning the Malaysian Chinese who were born in this country,
while clearly performing racial instigation, by the way,
as an excuse to blame Malaysian Chinese for all your failures to manage floods and everything around the country. Let me be clear though, generally the flag is the symbol of sovereignty of your country and you should not compromise it by simply displaying another flag above it. It is wrong to do so because you are basically putting another country above your own. And as a citizen of Malaysia, you should definitely value your national flag. But in almost all of those situations, there was a specific reason why it is that the flag was displayed in that particular way. With the Penang situation, the people holding the flags were Chinese nationals. With Teluk Intan, there were a couple of different people from different nations participating, of which China was one of them. And the Johor show,
it turns out it was a unity event taken out of context by some racists, and the Malaysian flag was actually on the other side.
In every single one of those situations,
there was an actual valid reason why the flag was there.
But then somehow or another, the Malaysian Chinese community got blamed.
As always, it is purely for political mileage.
It's ridiculous. You know, this has happened a ton of times already, and every single time I just wonder, why do you even bother? How long can you continue doing this? Do you know that the Malaysian Chinese are already only 20% of the population and people are already moving out of the country because of your BS? I mean, like, you can keep on blaming all the Chinese for all of your problems, but if your people just stay poor after a while, then what are you going to do when all the Chinese leave?
Funnily, this was the subject of Lee Kuan Yew's last speech in Malaysian Parliament, which I might talk about sometime soon.
I mean, if you think about it, it's actually kind of sad. Because you see, these politicians who serve the Malay community are actually serving a pretty good community. They're not dumb, certainly not lazy, and if they had confidence in themselves, then they would be able to just go out there and put in the effort, the work, in order to actually get good. But somehow or another, it's become popular just to mock China, mock Chinese, call us pendatang, and say, oops, we own the land. No idea how that's gonna work when your next generation becomes poorer, less intelligent, and becomes even more proud of failing exams. Sebab bukan British, bro. Jokes on some of these people out there screaming Cina Bukit Pendatang, because if you were born in Malaysia as a Malaysian Chinese with Malaysian citizenship, then China has no need to protect you. As far as I know, your ancestral heritage doesn't carry back that far, and as far as anybody who knows the constitution knows, if you're Malaysian Chinese, then you have citizenship under the constitution of this country, and not just Chinese people in general, but non-Boomies.
Not that some of these people would know though, since they don't respect the constitution.
But you know, I wonder though, does China know how these people are going out there using the Chinese flag as a political tool in order to sideline the Chinese and to just use it as a grounds for racism? Like, wouldn't it be funny if they found out somehow that all these politicians are actually actively hating on the Chinese, which includes not just the Malaysian Chinese but also Chinese nationals, using them as a tool even as they try to get money from the Chinese as much as possible, using them as a political bogeyman rather than
actually maintaining a genuine friendship?
Well, maybe some people would say that China doesn't care. Come on. They are just doing business. Why would they even bother about what's happening to anyone out there? They can blame you, and all you have to do is just be the pak turut and listen to every single thing that they're saying because they are the Tuan Tanah and they can say whatever they want. Well, using someone as a scapegoat usually means that you cannot actually solve your own problems. Scolding an entire race means that your critical thinking is not very good. And if you're looking for someone to blame over the course of time because you need a convenient target, that shows that you just tak tahu menari, dikatakan lantai, jongkang jongket. No skills, no abilities, only mockery. It is a sign of weakness. The fact is that when it comes to Malaysian politics out there, a lot of people just think in terms of racial terms. I think that you need to move beyond that mindset of victimization, that idea that somehow or another it is other races that are responsible for the failures that you have experienced and that Malaysia has experienced as a whole. Because as far as I know, 96 out of 97 of Malaysia's listed companies registered in the past 3 years were non-Bumiputra. Tan Sri Abdul Wahid Omar said at the time that this was supposed to be a wake-up call, and it is, but I think not exactly in the way that some people think. It's a wake-up call to the fact that, yes, it's true that some of these people can go out there and they can blame you, they can mock you, they can use you as a scapegoat for everything out there, but that will only mask over all the things that they're not doing. Training their children properly, giving them what they need to actually succeed, moving beyond a narrative of race and religion, and for once in their lives just respecting other races. It really isn't that difficult. And at least at this juncture, when you have a whole ton of people out there just mocking China and using it as a weapon to mock Malaysian Chinese, as far as I know, the only real way that the Malaysian Chinese communities,
and also all other communities that make up a multiracial Malaysia, by the way,
going to be able to get out of this gaslighting is if we have Malay allies. If you have people who are actually willing to stand up to the racists, the extremists, the people who are casually gaslighting the Chinese community, that's the only way that you can really do it. But the question is, do these people dare? Will they just be cowardly and afraid and just fail to say anything because they're afraid of being called Barwa Bangsa or protectors of the Chinese, when that's exactly what you need to do if you want to uplift Malaysia? We really need the moderate Malays right now, because if you don't come out and you don't speak, then you are complicit in the crime, and being complicit in the crime means that you will personally doom Malaysia itself. If you're a Malaysian Chinese
and you really feel that there's nothing that can be done about the situation,
just go out there, do your best in your education, in running your business, in doing the very best that you can to pretty much make something of yourself. Like, you're not here just to argue with people or to deal with BS 24/7 because you don't have time for that and life is waiting for you. Imagine being bitter like these people and failing to move on because you feel that you're being oppressed. Because that's what they are doing. Like, you can see it clear as day. And sure, you could be angry for a quick bit about like affirmative action, about a whole bunch of things out there, but you can also get so good that you can outcompete these people if you migrate overseas, or basically take your existing assets away with you. Of course, there is a chance that some of these people out there are going to get themselves together, will stop blaming China or the Chinese for every single problem that we're facing along the way, but that's not really in our hands, that's in their hands. If they finally realize what it is that other communities can actually contribute to Malaysia before it's too late and all of us end up leaving, then I think we should have an open mind to at least consider what it is that they're offering. But let me tell you this, you cannot be going out there and saying, oh my goodness, out of the kindness of my heart, I gave you this citizenship, because you did not. Your forefathers did, and you are part of another generation that has nothing to do with it. And like every single other person out there, integrate whether you like it or not if you actually want to get along with other races. If not, then can you just learn to stop gaslighting other races and enjoy doing whatever it is that you're doing here? Please, learn to be more mature.
Also, remember, no taxation without representation.
Alright, and that's it. Cheers and bye.